Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. What is one of the key features of Amazon Cloud Directory and AWS Directory Service? Real-time data analytics. Virtual private network connectivity. Support for storing hierarchical data. Automated machine learning capabilities. Amazon Cloud Directory supports the storing of hierarchical data structures, making it suitable for various use cases requiring data organization. What is AWS Directory Service used for in AWS environments? Managing DNS services. Launching virtual machines. Creating S3 buckets. Managing identity and access for AWS resources. AWS Directory Service is used for managing identity and access for AWS resources, providing the ability to connect AWS resources with an existing on-premises Microsoft Active Directory. How does AWS Directory Service support application compatibility? By enabling applications to authenticate against existing directories. By disabling access to third-party applications. By requiring developers to rewrite their applications for AWS. By providing a separate authentication mechanism for each application. AWS Directory Service supports application compatibility by enabling applications to authenticate against existing directories, ensuring a smooth transition to cloud-based services. What is the purpose of Amazon Cloud Directory and AWS Directory Service? To automate AWS resource deployment. To build flexible, cloud-native directories for organizing hierarchies of data. To manage virtual private networks. To store and query large datasets. Amazon Cloud Directory and AWS Directory Service is used to build flexible, cloud-native directories to organize hierarchies of data for various use cases. What is one of the advantages of using Amazon Cloud Directory for complex data structures? Faster disk read/write speeds. Automated backups of directory data. Dynamic schema changes without downtime. Enhanced encryption for data at rest. Amazon Cloud Directory allows for dynamic schema changes without downtime, enabling users to modify data structures as needed without disrupting services or data access. What is the primary advantage of using AWS Directory Service instead of setting up an on-premises directory? Reduced management overhead and cost. Faster network speeds. Enhanced security features. Greater control over hardware. AWS Directory Service offers reduced management overhead and cost compared to setting up and managing an on-premises directory service. What is the advantage of using AWS Directory Service for Microsoft Workspaces? Increased storage capacity for workspaces. Improved network speed for workspaces. Enhanced graphical performance for workspaces. Simplified user access and management. Using AWS Directory Service for Microsoft Workspaces provides simplified user access and management, allowing for seamless integration of user identities between directory services and workspaces environments. What is the primary advantage of using AWS Directory Service for LDAP integration with AWS resources? Secure encryption of network traffic. Automated database backups. Faster data transfer speeds. Seamless integration of LDAP-based authentication for AWS services. AWS Directory Service enables seamless integration of LDAP-based authentication for AWS services, simplifying access control mechanisms for various resources and ensuring secure authentication flows. What is a key benefit of using AWS Directory Service with Amazon ECS? Seamless integration for user authentication with AWS resources. Automated load balancing. Enhanced server security features. Improved server response times. AWS Directory Service allows for seamless integration of user authentication with Amazon ECS services, simplifying access control and authentication mechanisms for containerized applications. What is the function of Amazon Cloud Directory in AWS Directory Service? Encrypting all stored data. Organizing hierarchical data structures for efficient data management. Managing cloud server instances. Balancing network traffic. Amazon Cloud Directory is used for organizing hierarchical data structures efficiently, making data management and access control tasks easier through structured data hierarchies. What is the primary advantage of using AWS Managed Microsoft AD for organizations with Microsoft workloads? Automated server provisioning. Enhanced database encryption. Faster file system access. Seamless integration with existing Microsoft environments. AWS Managed Microsoft AD offers seamless integration with existing Microsoft environments, making it easier for organizations with Microsoft workloads to manage user access control and directory services. What is the purpose of AWS Directory Service? To automatically deploy EC2 instances. To connect AWS resources with an existing on-premises Microsoft Active Directory. To manage S3 bucket permissions. To set up a new AWS-specific directory service from scratch. The AWS Directory Service allows users to connect AWS resources with an existing on-premises Microsoft Active Directory, enabling seamless integration and management. What is the benefit of using AWS Directory Service for AWS workloads? Faster network speeds for EC2 instances. Decreased storage costs for S3 buckets. Improved security and compliance. Increased redundancy for RDS databases. Using AWS Directory Service for AWS workloads can provide improved security and compliance by leveraging existing directory services authentication and authorization mechanisms. What is the benefit of using Simple AD with AWS Directory Service? It is a cost-effective option for small to mid-sized businesses. It supports greater scalability than Amazon Cloud Directory. It provides robust disaster recovery features. It offers advanced machine learning capabilities. Simple AD is a cost-effective directory option for small to mid-sized businesses as it offers features similar to Microsoft Active Directory. What is the purpose of the Amazon Cloud Directory SDK in AWS Directory Service? To manage virtual private networks. To monitor network latency. To enable developers to interact with Cloud Directory programmatically. To automate DNS configuration. The Amazon Cloud Directory SDK allows developers to interact with Cloud Directory programmatically, making it easier to integrate directory services into custom applications and workflows. What is the purpose of enabling SSO integration with AWS Directory Service for user access management? To perform real-time data analysis. To manage DNS configurations. To facilitate single sign-on access to multiple services. To automate VPN connections. Enabling SSO integration with AWS Directory Service allows for single sign-on access to multiple services, simplifying user authentication processes and improving access control across various resources. What is the benefit of configuring trust relationships between AWS-managed Microsoft AD and existing on-premises directories? Optimizing database performance. Enabling users to access AWS resources with existing on-premises credentials. Increasing storage capacity. Enhancing network security. Configuring trust relationships between AWS-managed Microsoft AD and on-premises directories allows users to access AWS resources using their existing on-premises credentials, providing a seamless experience. What is the benefit of using AWS Directory Service with Amazon RDS for SQL Server? Enabling integrated authentication with Microsoft Active Directory. Optimizing query performance. Improving database backup speed. Increasing storage capacity. AWS Directory Service allows for integrated authentication with Microsoft Active Directory when using Amazon RDS for SQL Server, facilitating seamless user access management. What is a limitation of using Amazon Cloud Directory for organizing data structures in AWS Directory Service? Initial learning curve for setting up schemas. Compatibility issues with virtual machines. Limited data storage capacity. High storage costs compared to traditional directories. A limitation of Amazon Cloud Directory may be the initial learning curve for setting up schemas, as it requires understanding of data structure design for efficient data organization. What authentication methods are supported by AWS Directory Service for user access management? JWT, NTLM, Digest, and Kerberos. OAuth, SAML, OpenID Connect, and JWT. LDAP, Radius, Kerberos, and NTLM. OAuth 2, Scram, Digest, and Basic. AWS Directory Service supports authentication methods like LDAP, Radius, Kerberos, and NTLM for user access management across AWS resources. What is the primary use case for implementing AD connector in AWS Directory Service? Configuring network firewalls. Integrating on-premises Active Directory with AWS resources. Monitoring EC2 instance performance. Optimizing S3 storage backups. AD connector is used to integrate on-premises Active Directory with AWS resources, allowing for centralized access management and authentication across environments. How does AWS Directory Service enhance security for AWS resources? By centralizing user identity and access management. By offering automated application deployment. By encrypting all network traffic. By providing cloud server hosting. AWS Directory Service enhances security for AWS resources by centralizing user identity and access management, allowing for efficient management and control of user permissions. How does AWS Directory Service simplify user management in AWS environments? By requiring users to manage separate accounts for each AWS service. By limiting the number of users that can access AWS resources. By allowing centralized user account management. By automatically creating new user accounts for each service. AWS Directory Service simplifies user management in AWS environments by allowing centralized user account management, reducing the administrative overhead of managing multiple accounts. What type of directory service is Simple AD in AWS Directory Service? A directory service built on LDAP. A small-scale directory that is compatible with Microsoft Active Directory. An enterprise-level directory with advanced security features. A cloud-native directory for flexible data storage. Simple AD is a small-scale directory that is compatible with Microsoft Active Directory, offering key features for user access management and identity control in AWS environments. What is one of the primary benefits of using AWS Directory Service with AWS Managed Microsoft AD? Automated database backups. Enhanced cloud resource monitoring. Increased data transfer speeds. Integrated user authentication across AWS resources. Using AWS Directory Service with AWS Managed Microsoft AD allows for integrated user authentication across various AWS resources, simplifying access control and authentication mechanisms for users. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.